Hey folks, welcome back. So I know I've been away for a while, sorry about that. And for those of you patiently waiting for a puzzle video from me, finally your patience has been rewarded. As you can see, I've been focusing mainly on fixing up aspects of my board game collection, completing some stuff there. So most of my money was going towards that in recent months. And also I've been ill for a while, so that's why you haven't seen any videos from me in very recent days. But I'm slowly getting back into the swing of things. And now that I've taken care of some of that board game collection stuff I wanted to do, now it's time for puzzles again. So I've just got this lovely parcel here via Royal Mail. This came from speedcubing.org. Now you may think it's all speed cubes over there, but they do actually have a nice selection of other general twisty puzzles as well, which has been growing steadily as the shop has grown. So I do recommend taking a look over there, particularly if the other UK shops like cubes.co.uk doesn't have what you want. Speedcubing.org might have it. So I've got 3 new puzzles in here today, and I'm very excited about these guys. Oh, here we go. So we have the Aofu WRM 7x7 from Moyu, so that's a 7x7 speed cube. And we have, for the first time in several years, I bought a new flagship 3x3. This is the, oops, that's the Chinese side. Is there an English side? Maybe not. Okay, well, this is the Moyu, what is it, the WRM 2021, which uses the new magnetic levitation technology and has these cool kind of purple colored pieces. So I'm very excited about this. It's going to be extremely fast, maybe too fast for the likes of me, since I'm not by any means a world-class speed cuber, but we'll see how it goes. And then, what I've been most looking forward to, we have this guy. Oh yes. The stickerless 5x5 Gigaminx from Yuxin. Yuxin toys make you clever. There you go. Very, very excited for this. I really hope that now that this has come out, it's got a lot of coverage on YouTube. Hopefully a lot of people will buy it, and then they'll come out with, you know, the 4x4 Kilominx and the Elite Kilominx 6x6 and Terraminx in stickerless and in speed cubable form, and I would be very, very happy. So, you can tell I'm already just tearing into it. I want to see this first of all. So we'll go with that. Yeah, here we go. Nice looking box. I probably won't keep it, but it's nice to have it, I suppose. Adds a certain amount of grandeur to the unveiling here. Oh, look at that. Now, longtime viewers of the channel will know that I am not a fan of stickers. I just tend to have really bad luck with them. They tend to fall off or slide off in the middle of a solve and screw me up. They've just not been kind to me over the years. So having a stickerless Gigaminx is like a dream come true. Now, Shengshou, of course, has done stickerless ginormous Minx puzzles. So they've done an 11x11 Examinx and whatever the 13x13 Minx is called. But they cost hundreds of dollars. So, you know, maybe I'll look at that for Christmas or something and get one of those. But in the meantime, this is the only of the larger Minxes in stickerless that's actually like affordable. And in case you can't tell, the movement is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. It really is a speed cubable puzzle for sure. Now there is a lot of lube in here, so it's a little bit sticky. So as I get to solving this thing, it's going to get, if anything, even faster. So you can see the layers are sticking together a little bit when I'm trying to spin 2 at once here. But as I break this in, no doubt in my mind that's going to get substantially better. Oh, it feels really nice. Now, by means of comparison, I have brought along here the Shengshou Gigaminx, which is still a great puzzle, don't get me wrong. But now this Yuxin costs about the same. So I would say, based on the movement alone, if you want a Gigaminx to solve, and particularly speed solve, you should get the Yuxin. So let's compare the sizes here. I mean, they're basically, pretty much identical. I don't think there's really any notable difference in size whatsoever. Weirdly, the Shengshou does look a little bit bigger. Maybe it's just an optical illusion since you have the gaps between the stickers. It looks a little bit bigger, but the edge length looks identical, so they should be the same size. Now, the Shengshou is a good turning puzzle, but as you will see, much harder to do finger tricks on this puzzle. So if you are into speed solving, as I am, then definitely this is a beautiful, stable puzzle. If you like stickers, obviously it's the way to go. But for speed solving and for performance, this Yuxin clearly has it beat. No comparison at all. I mean, yeah, I will have to do some setup and some lubing and possibly cleaning out the old lube so I can get double layer moves working a bit more smoothly. But of course, it'd be nice if it had magnets as well. I don't know if this would support magnetizing. It's possible that it may. I don't know. Have to look at the pieces themselves. But yeah, let's also look at the colors here. So we've got white and gray. So it's okay. And we have, yeah, the color scheme I think is pretty much the standard. Let's take a look here. So we got white, red, and then blue, yellow, purple, and green. Yep, so identical to the Shengshou standard. And on the other side, yep, we've got gray, orange, blue, and cream, pink, and light green. Now, what has been a problem with Megaminx puzzles, stickerless in the past, is the contrast between the greens. So we'll just take a look at that here. I mean, that looks absolutely fine. This is much more vibrant and much lighter, the screen, so there won't be any issues mixing those up. I found on the Aofu V2M, which is my preferred speed-solving Megaminx, I can easily confuse the green layers. I believe they fixed that on a newer printing of the puzzle, so I will be getting another one of those at some point. It's a great puzzle, as well as being cheap. But yeah, this is wonderful. It's also feels substantially lighter than the Shengshou. I don't know if that's just my mind playing tricks, because they are the same size, but it does feel less weighty. I would say that, you know, the advantage of any stickered puzzles, you have this nice contrast with the black plastic surface and the stickers, which is helpful for visibility of pieces. And also you can see that some of the colors are just more vibrant. I mean, this pink is really shocking. You know, the orange really pops, you know, but the stickerless shades here are pretty dang good, I have to say. In particular, you know, the differences between the white and the cream is more than good enough, and between these two greens. So yeah, this is such a smooth turning puzzle. Really, really fantastic. So I'm looking forward to getting some first solves done on this. I may, just for the heck of it, do an example solve in a separate video. Not like for speed solving purposes, but just to show, you know, how this puzzle performs after it's broken in. But we'll see how it goes. I'm only just getting back into making videos, so I don't want to start making promises I can't keep. But yeah, fantastic. That's the Yuxin 5x5 stickerless Minx puzzle. Well worth the money if you have it, and if you're in the market for this kind of thing. Yeah, look at that. I can't wait. All right. So, Yuxin, if you're out there, if you happen to be watching this tiny, no-budget cubing channel, please do the 4x4, 6x6, and 7x7 Minxes as well. Please, please, please. All right. Next up, for quick first impressions, we've got the WRM 2021 from Moyu. So as I say, this is kind of the last year's main flagship. Came out, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago or so. I'm sure there's going to be another one coming around the corner, as there always is. This, just by way of pricing comparisons here. So the Yuxin Gigaminx cost me £30 from speedcubing.org. This guy here was £23, I believe. And the Aofu was actually the most expensive puzzle at $36. So particularly, I'm curious about this one because the MGC 7x7 is fantastic, and this is substantially more expensive than that. Don't know if it's going to be worth it, but basically, if a new big cube for speed cubing comes out, I just have to have it. That's just the way it is. Okay, I want to try and open this without wrecking the box. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our usual box of accessories, which contains, we have screwdriver and some kind of, what is that? I don't know what that is. And we have another adjustment tool and some pegs. I don't know what those are for. There's some mysterious stuff in here. Usually it's just a screwdriver and some cards, but we've got two of these little scoopy things. And looks like part of another screwdriver. Wow, okay. And then you have your typical cube solving guide and some cards for their sponsored players, etc. Nothing that we really need to spend time on. Oh, but I guess I'm going to have to read the instructions to figure out what the heck's going on. I'm made to understand this puzzle has a huge amount of different adjustments you can make. What's this? Contestants get results through Moyu Cultural Cube. Okay, so this is the Moyu World team. Is there anybody we recognize here? Luke Garrett, yeah. A lot of Chinese names, some very young people. All right, cool. Well, congrats to them, I suppose. Moyu likes to do these very cool plastic boxes. I have their GTS3M 3x3 from a few years ago, which comes in a box just like this. They're really sturdy, really nice, and just convenient. I'm not a big cube display person, because I barely have room to store the things anyway. But for a flagship, it's nice to have that little bit of extra flash, isn't it? Okay, here we go. My first maglev experience is coming. Maglev, for those of you who don't know, is basically the cube doesn't have springs to create tension with the core. It has two magnets in opposition, so you have effectively the face is floating there in space, hence magnetic levitation. Wow, actually, that is so smooth. All right, so the other big marketing USP of this guy is purple internals. How cool is that? Oh, that looks great. Look at that. It's a beautiful color. You can see, I mean, it's crazy fast. It's very easy to, I'm not a fast turner, but yeah, a minimum of effort will do a U2 here. In fact, even more than that. But no doubt I'll put some lube in this thing and slow it down a bit. And it should be, I think I should be able to handle this. Also, there are many adjustments, as I mentioned. So, let's see, where are the, I think there's magnet adjustments somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So, on these edge pieces, you can see there's a dial here. And you can turn this dial to set the magnet strength. It looks like I'm on the lowest setting, which would also make the cube harder to control. So what I can do once I'm working on getting this set up for my preferences, I'll jack up that magnet strength enormously, because I do like strong magnets. I've heard there's not that much of a difference between 3 and 4. So you can kind of go on the lower end, 1 or 2, or just jack it up to 5, and then you'll really notice the difference. But yeah, it feels really interesting. It's not, I mean, it's just incredibly smooth. I know that's a simplistic way to say it, but I mean, you know, obviously there's no spring noise as well. It's just kind of, it's gliding its way along in such an effortless way. I mean, I'm really putting a minimum of force into it here. So I can see how, you know, if you had the fingers of a Speedcubing Pro, you could really do some incredible things with this. Wow, that is very cool. Yeah, so look at that. Even the slice moves are beautifully smooth as well. And this is out of the box, you know, out of the plastic wrap. I really don't like, if it wasn't for the fact that it's a little bit too fast for me, you know, there's not a lot I would need to do to this cube to just start solving right away. I do think you can see clearly that I'm overshooting almost every turn. But, I mean, I'm also not super accurate because I'm not a great cuber. Yeah, so I will have to work on that. The purple looks fantastic. There's also some quite detailed adjustments you can make to this thing. So I think I will need to take off the center caps. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I know this. So this is the kind of classic Moyu adjustment system. So there's a little plastic tool in this box here, and you can sort of click on top of this, and you can adjust the tensions by just rotating that tool. And you can see that this thing has kind of teeth at different heights. So, you know, if you the teeth are going deeper, then obviously it's pushing the spring down more, and you're changing the tensions that way. So that's how you can deal with the settings, set the looseness or tightness of the cube. And then, of course, you have all these adjustable magnets, which is super awesome. I think this may be my first cube with adjustable magnets as well. So a lot of firsts today. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy fast. Wow. Cool. Okay, I'm really excited. I didn't know how I would feel about this maglev stuff, and I knew I really needed to try it, but now I want everything maglev. This just feels amazing. It makes you feel powerful. It just moves so beautifully, smoothly, and quickly. And anyway, that's what it looks like scrambled. I'm not going to put you through a solve because it'll be really messy, given that I'm not used to the cube and it's not adjusted, and I want to change the magnet strength and all that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a really nice looking cube as well. Fairly shiny exterior. Feels pretty grippy. It's not too slick. Of course, you have that fantastic purple interior, which is just great. That seems to be the calling card for all of Moyu's new maglev stuff, is they've got this purple interior, which is a great idea because that is highly marketable, very visually attractive, and makes them stand out amongst the crowd. So good work on that one. Yeah, so that's the WRM 2021 maglev flagship speed cube from Moyu. And there will be undoubtedly a 2022 coming out at some point. But yeah, for me, this is amazing. I'm really glad I got this. So we'll see how I go once I get it fully adjusted to my preferences. But I have a feeling I'm going to be setting some personal bests with this pretty quickly. Just feels really, really good. All right, so I will do first solve on my own time. You can admire that in the background here. Finally, we have the Aofu WRM 7x7. Now, the Aofu GTS-M was my first 7x7 speed cube, and I really loved it. I was fascinated at that time. I was new to cubing, twisty puzzling in general, and just the idea that you could solve this gigantic 7x7 at such a speed was fascinating to me. But then, over time, I discovered that there were lots of other 7x7s out there. Not lots, but a few. And eventually, the MGC 7x7 came out, and I've never taken out that Aofu since. So now that they've got a new Aofu, I had to give it a look, especially since some of the previews I've seen looked really positive, because I've just got a great sentimental value attached to the Aofu name. I mean, it's my first 7x7. You know, you never get your first 7x7. So hopefully, this stands up to scrutiny next to the MGC. The MGC line from YJ are the current market leaders for big cubes in the speed cubing world. They did a fantastic job on everything from 4x4 to 7x7, and I own all of those puzzles. In fact, I'm going to buy one or two extra of the 6x6 because 6x6 is my favorite thing to solve, and I just never want to be without that puzzle. I would like to have a stockpile of MGC 6x6s because they're just that good. All right, here we go. Ooh, nice and fast. Feels very smooth. It's also nice and compact. Definitely feels smaller than the MGC. Now the magnets are pretty strong because you can see when I'm trying to do just the outer layers, it does carry along the second layer from time to time, but I think, you know, it's been on the slow boat from China, so it also needs to just be played with and broken in a little bit. I think the magnet strength feels pretty good as well. They've got it just about right. I mean, the MGC it's dialed in perfectly because, you know, there was a lot of hype around that puzzle. YJ knew they had to get it spot on, and they did. But this feels great as well. It's pretty hard to overshoot on these turns. They're well within the range of, you know, where you can corner cut on this thing. And the corner cutting is, okay, that's a little bit too much. Like any big cube, you're lucky to get more than a piece of corner cutting, but this easily manages that. Again, out of the box, no lube. With 2 layers, yeah, pretty good. Because the magnets in the inners are quite strong, then if you want to do slices, you're going to have to do them this way. But one nice thing is that when you're doing 3x3 stage, the 5 inner layers stick together really well because of the magnets. So you can do your 3x3 algorithms with slice moves, no problems there. I gotta say, so far I'm really impressed with this. It feels great. It's probably a bit slower than the MGC, but again, you know, fresh out of the box. I have got the MGC here with me, of course, to give you a real comparison. What I'm most curious about is the size, because I think the Aofu is definitely pretty tidy and small. So this is the MGC, my right hand here. Let's compare. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a significant difference. I mean, that's at least 2, maybe 3 millimeters. That doesn't sound like a lot, but you can see that's actually quite a bit of difference when you place the physical puzzles next to each other. You definitely notice that in the hand, and I think, you know, it does increase your speed because you're just moving your fingers slightly less on every single turn. And in 7x7 solve, you're doing a couple hundred turns at least to solve. So that will make a difference. Now, before I put that back, actually, see if I can compare the feel. Actually, I would say the speed is maybe a little bit faster on the Aofu now that I've done this. So this 7x7, I didn't do much to it because I felt that MGC or YJ rather pretty much nailed it out of the box as far as the feel. It is nice and fast and smooth. I've got a tiny bit of lube in there, but you really don't need much for this puzzle. You can see that the slice moves, you need to get kind of full grip of the inner layers on the MGC, or you might end up just getting a few of the layers rather than all 5. I've not found it to be a huge issue. Yeah, there we go. So let's see if it's pretty rare that they separate in an inconvenient way, but it does happen. The Aofu, it feels like those things will not separate. I mean, I'm only touching the outermost layer of the slice, basically. And they're staying together perfectly. So I think that's really optimized for the 3x3 stage. That will mean the slice moves will be a little bit tricky to get used to. You will have to really manipulate individual layers like this and get kind of accurate with that. But I'm used to doing that on 7x7 anyway. Yeah, I do think this is a little bit faster than the MGC. So this is definitely a competitor. Yeah, that's really exciting. I do think it will need a little bit of adjustment. It's a little bit maybe too fast for me. I'll have to put some slower lube in there just to make it a bit more manageable. But at least the magnets control the outer layers really well, and the inner slices are heavily controlled by the magnetization, so they won't be going anywhere. But I think when I'm dealing with the sort of 2 or 3 outer layers here, I'm going to need to be careful that I don't overshoot or get myself a little bit too out of control when I'm doing double layer moves like that. But God, it feels great. I mean, this is a different galaxy entirely from the original Aofu GTS. Wow, all right. So that is the Aofu WRM. It does not have maglev. This is standard springs. I'm not sure how practical maglev will be on big cubes like this. I don't know if it would add too much weight because you would have just a lot more magnets going into the puzzle. I don't know if it would make a difference like that, but I hope they do give it a try. I would certainly love to pick up a big cube with a maglev system in it. That would be very interesting. But yeah, I think this cube is great if you want to do 7x7 and you want a high-speed puzzle with strong inner layer magnets, so they stay together really nicely, as you can see. Then this is definitely the way to go, and certainly the size is a big difference. Now, of course, the price. The MGC is significantly cheaper, so I bought this for, I think, £24 roughly, and this guy here was 36, so that's a good third higher. So it's not insignificant. But if you're like me, you haven't bought any new speed cubes in quite a while, then it doesn't matter too much. But if you're on a budget, I would go for the MGC, because you will, that cube will not hold you back by any means. I think this cube is really, if you're a pro at 7x7, you want to optimize, you want a smaller cube where you can make faster finger tricks, you want faster moving layers, then this will be the way to go. The other thing is I really like Moyu's stickerless shades. You can see that the blue, maybe it's hard to tell on the camera, but the blue to my eyes is nice and rich on the Aofu, and the orange is a bit deeper as well. There's a bit more yellow in it on the MGC. It's really nice shades, finely differentiated from each other, and the yellow really pops nicely. It's a little bit more dull on the MGC. But, I mean, these are really minor nitpicks. The MGC is an absolutely fantastic 7x7, and I actually like the size on this one because I've got reasonably big hands, so it fits me pretty well. But anyway, I'm babbling because I'm really excited. All of these puzzles are great. I'm really happy with my first impressions. I think, the Gigaminx just moves beautifully. It looks great, and the price is right as well. The WRM 2021 feels super smooth. It feels like a flagship puzzle, and I'm curious to see if I can handle it when I use it in anger and do some time solves. And the Aofu is fantastic. It's been a surprise to me how smooth it is to the touch, and just how nicely tuned the magnet strength feels. I think this is going to do really well for me, actually. And I'm really excited. There's a new Aofu that kind of lives up to my nostalgia of the previous one, and does so by just being right up there with its strongest competition. So very exciting stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not into speedcubery, don't fret. There will be some videos of much stranger puzzles coming soon. I did make an order from HKNowStore for some limited edition stuff, which was both very expensive and very exciting. And I'm putting together a wish list on ZiiCube. So over the next couple of months, I'm going to have a bunch of new stuff coming in. I'm also, I've been saving up in the background for some 3D printed stuff from Oscar van Deventer and a few others. So not super expensive, gigantic, crazy puzzles, but some really cool stuff that would fit well in my collection. So keep an eye out for more puzzle videos coming. I will eventually get back to doing some videos about cuboid solves and stuff like that, which I was really enjoying before I got sick, and everything kind of went out of my control there for a bit, but I'm glad to be back. If you have any comments, questions about these puzzles, leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer whatever queries you've got. Again, these are more kind of speedcube-y puzzles, but I'm very much of the opinion that every puzzle collection should have your N by N cubes in it. If you're going to have the N by N cubes, which are classic, really fun to solve, great way to introduce other people, friends and family to twisty puzzles, you might as well have great ones. So even if you're not a competitive speedcuber, it can be really nice to get a low to mid-range price speedcube for your N by N cubes, because they will just be an absolute pleasure to turn. And it's really nice to have a Gigaminx that falls in that category now as well. All right, so I hope you all are staying healthy and well out there. Take care of yourselves. Again, give me a shout out in the comments. Let me know what you think of the puzzles, and I hope to see you soon when my next shipments come in, and with some more twisty puzzling tutorials and stuff in the future. All right, everybody, take care, and bye-bye.